Have you noticed how sensitive the topic of masculine, feminine, man, woman, gender is today? It's almost a minefield to even know what words to be using in reference to our genders. And there's a lot of confusion around this. So I'm going to be speaking to what I'm feeling coming through. And it's connected to a shedding of the skin that is happening around gender identification and the roles that we have traditionally given to these identities in the past. So if you think of our history, women were considered to be the homemakers, the weaker sex. They would stay behind, they would cook the food, they would look after the children, they would gather and forage. And the men, being of stronger bodies, would go out on hunts and hunt animals and bring home the kill. They would be the protectors of the family. So all of this is very much embraced within the idea of a physically stronger body belonging to a man. And that, in general, is still the case today. And I have to say in general because obviously there's a lot of women with stronger bodies than a lot of men. So I'm talking very generally. And we have to keep the conversation general so that it doesn't disintegrate into the triggering that is happening due to the shedding of identity that I'm speaking into right now. So what are we shedding? Women have come through a period of the feminist movement, which has fought for women's rights to move into the workplace, to move out of the role of being identified with the home and the family. So in this, I see women really claiming their masculine energy. And to speak about masculine and feminine energy, they are energies within us that we have access to beyond gender. We all have access to masculine and feminine energy. So women have broken out of the role of being only in their feminine energy, the nurturers, the emotional beings that nurture and look after a family, and have moved into claiming their masculine energy, their ability to move into business, to self-define their life, their goals, what they want, and to achieve them, to bring them into being. This is strong masculine energy. And in this, women are ahead of men. Men seem to be, in general, struggling to emerge, to find their new identity at our current time. So men have been historically entrenched in this role of the strong man. And in this, there's been a split in embracing their feminine energy, which of course is their right. It's part of their energetic makeup. So to not be comfortable with it would create a schism or a split in the integrated self. So as we are growing in consciousness, we are also growing into a push, a desire to integrate, to take back, and to move into the fullness of both of these polarities. And in this, we find an expanse in our freedom and in our ability to love. So if we look at homophobia and how strong it is amongst men in particular, this is because there is a fear there of embracing their feminine. They are being confronted with their shadow, the part that they haven't owned. Homosexual people are representing people who have embraced the spectrum of gender identity. And this is confronting for a lot of people who are afraid of embracing their own opposite polarity. And I would also argue that the witch hunts, the persecution of women by men, has also come from that same place, a fear of embracing their own feminine. And it has come out, their shadow has come out in the persecution of women. So a modern day man, a conscious man who's fully embraced his feminine, who's in touch with his feelings, his sensuality, beyond just hardcore sex, a man who has moved into this level of consciousness will not have a need to persecute women because he's embraced his inner woman. And there's, on the other side of the spectrum, a lot of persecution of men going on by women because there is a fear of their own inner masculine, of embracing their own empowerment. And this is important for women in general to learn to do. So when they embrace their masculine, it is the ability to set boundaries, the ability to stand in their power, to take responsibility for their life, to show up, to create what they want to create, and to move out of the damsel in distress that needs to be rescued. This is to take responsibility. So if we are going to grow up as humans and grow into our next stage of evolution, we need to move beyond fear of the opposite polarity within ourselves. We need to embrace our inner man and our inner woman. We need to know that it is a spectrum, that we can fluidly move along and between either side at any moment in time. We can use our masculine energy when it's needed. We can use our feminine. We can blend them. We can play with them. And what this does is liberate us into the full spectrum of who we are. And this is what I call freedom. And this is what I call a return to love, where we no longer need to war with each other, but can look each other in the eye and see ourselves in the other.